And as the parking lot sign just indicated, today finds me at the Azure Mountain Trailhead, Azure, which if you look it up means blue skies. Well, today has a chance of showers. It rained a couple hours ago, but lightly. That was a warm front coming through, folks. This is Labor Day weekend, and I'm always looking for these places that are less traveled and less trodden and still have great rewards for our efforts. And I'm the only car in the lot right now. Now, that may change. Forecast was for showers all day, but the warm front came through without much fanfare. We're in what's called the warm sector of this low pressure system with a strong south wind, so it should be a mild day. It's been in the 50s a lot lately, highs in the 50s. So going to feel a little warmer today, and because of the weather forecast, I chose this hike today. Fairly short hike, short but steep, and does have a lookout tower up top. I'm not sure if it's open, but there are open views from the ledges on the top of Azure Mountain. It's about 2,500 feet in elevation. We're in Franklin County, New York here. Not that far from Potsdam, which is in St. Lawrence County, and not that far from Malone, which is in Franklin County. And Azure Mountain is actually off of the Blue Mountain Road. Looks like about 6-7 miles south of New York State Route 458, which is a paved road. At this point, Blue Mountain Road is gravel, and I believe there is winter maintenance if you come in from the north on Blue Mountain Road. I came in from the south. Want to do a little scenic drive. It's early fall, late summer here. No problem with winter maintenance issues. But the middle section of the Blue Mountain Road, I'm on page 101 of the New York State Gazetteer here, is marked as no winter maintenance. And there are no dwellings on that middle stretch for them to maintain the road for. But I did come in from the Paul Smith's area on Keese's Mill Road, which is maintained, headed north on the Blue Mountain Road, which is the only way you can go at that point anyways. The rest is privately owned and gated. Blue Mountain Road does go north, and a couple miles after it forks off the Keese's Mill Road, it does have a sign, no winter maintenance, December 1st to April 1st. Let's go on up this mountain and see what we can find for views, wildlife, geology, and all those other things that might catch our attention. And about a quarter mile from the parking lot, we do have the official trailhead here, folks. With, like many of the hikes in the New York State, they have a register where you can sign in so they can determine how many resources they need to devote to these trails based on demand. And also, in case you were to be, they can account for your presence if you don't sign back out on the way out. They know that you either forgot to or you're missing, and they can make the appropriate decisions on search and rescue based on that. Here's our trail map. I did not download this and print this, but there's not much navigating required. It's just a straight shot. It's a 1 mile trail with almost 1,000 feet of gain, and some of that 1 mile is actually level. So I think it's going to be a scrambling hike. Probably a lot of boulders, and we'll see how tough it gets. We'll do our best to get up and down it. I'm not too concerned about it. It's not wet today. It didn't rain enough to get the rocks wet. So, but lots of information here on this mountain that can be read. There's even a organization called Azure Mountain Friends. So obviously this mountain gets a lot of attention. I think the weather forecast and the fact it's still pretty early in the morning is keeping the crowds away. And as you folks could just see, there was a deer there. I think it's a female. The males usually get their antlers in the fall. So she was munching away. A lot of these plants, are edible to them. And they got to fatten up because the snows in the winter, the snows get very deep around here and the winter gets very long. And she wasn't too concerned about my presence. I filmed her and just kept on moving. And she stayed right where she was. So as the snows get deeper in this area and the weather gets colder, the deer usually go down in the lowlands, in the swamps, the balsam swamps, for the winter, and make trails that they can use every day through the snow, so they don't have to expend the energy to bust a new trail through 3 or 4 feet of snowpack. So that's called yarding up, and in this harsh climate here, that's what they have to do for much of the winter. And before the steep section of that trail, and just after I saw that deer within a couple hundred yards, I'm always kind of surveying my surroundings, and just a few, probably 30 or 40 feet south of the trail, I see a tree with multiple trunks. That's not uncommon for some species of trees. Red oak is known for that, and basswood is known for that, but these guys are huge. Usually the basswoods, if they get multiple trunks, only one of them is really big. Well, we got 4 trunks on this basswood tree, and each one's a couple feet in diameter. And boy, if one of these came down, I think the others would have to come down because they're kind of balancing each other out from this trunk here. So, a little interesting there. It's a fairly common tree in upstate New York. At the lower and the mid elevations, you get up high enough, you don't find it. And some sugar maples underneath it here. But it's just really neat to look at some of these things along the way. And basswood has a lot of uses. The bark can be used to make cordage or ropes, and the wood itself is the preferred wood of your wood carvers. Excellent for wood carving. And just above that bent and twisted sugar maple tree, we've got a little bit of goldenrod here. A woodland variety that you can find in partial shade. And then where there's more sun, looks like there was some kind of a blowdown or something caused these woods to open up right here. And boy, all kinds of blackberries. Acres of them. Of course, it's not easy hiking through this, especially if you're wearing shorts. But there's some for the taking right here. And one of the other common mammals of this area, the black bear, will eat these in great quantity. I was hiking the other day and found quite a few piles of black bear droppings with mostly blackberry seeds in the droppings. So they're trying to fatten up for the winter too. And a little further up the mountain, Azure Mountain is showing its true colors here, at least as far as the rocks go. There was a lot of boulders on the way up, but no bedrock for very long. But here we are, 40 feet thick exposure of bedrock here. And it's all broken into nice, evenly angled chunks here. It's almost like somebody quarried this, but I don't think they did. These are not quite 90-degree breaks, more like a 75-degree crack in these rocks. And these are all metamorphic rocks of Precambrian age, and most of this is gneiss, Gneiss, and I don't know the geology of this area in great detail. Didn't really have a lot of time to download or study the geology maps before these hikes. That's about 40 feet of rock right there, with all kinds of crevasses back here, and great places for animals to winter over. porcupines, and yes, the animal we just discussed with the berries. So we won't go too much further than this, but it looks like you can go back quite a bit further. This reminds me of some of the areas in the Appalachians in Pennsylvania, Kentucky, West Virginia, where I have these rock and boulder gardens made of sandstone. And we're within a few hundred feet of the summit now. By Adirondack standards, this is a moderate trail. Even though it climbs a lot in a short distance, I never found it that difficult. The footing was predictable. There was no major ledges or places you had to scramble up. So I consider this a moderate hike if you don't mind climbing. And so this would definitely be a hike that, you know, a family could do if the kids are used to hiking in this area. And as you can see from that last clip, the fire tower is still here and it is open to the public. And for those that don't like those heights, I'm going to do quite a few clips of the views from these ledges as well. So you get a nice view in 3 directions, east, south, and west from these ledges. They continue on for quite a distance. And while in that tower, I'm not going to be talking. I tried it once already and it's all muffled from this strong south wind today. So we'll just let the view speak for itself from the tower and enjoy the view from these ledges as well. And for those of you that are uneasy about climbing that fire tower, there are plenty of fine views, especially on the south side of this mountain, with all kinds of interesting plants to frame your view in with if you'd like to take photos. I've been getting some photos of these goldenrods with the mountains in the background. We got some mountain ash berries here in the foreground here. Still nice and ripe and red. So beautiful place for not mountains, and plenty of places to explore around this mountaintop. It's not one-dimensional by any means, and the view is not one-dimensional either. As you walk along, you find more and more different perspectives on this surrounding area. And the goat paths, I call them, that go all over the top of this mountain lead you to some interesting scenery, including this glacial erratic, which was described at the kiosk where I started. There was some information on that. Let's stop and take a better look at this guy. There's all kinds of ledges to explore on the south face of this Azure mountain. The view changes, the plants change. It's just a real interesting area to hang out for a while. And this area has thin soil. It doesn't have mature forest. And all kinds of plants here that end up growing in places where there is open summits or open bald areas like this that are becoming reforested. Got some northern white cedar, which is at home in the Adirondacks. They even found it at 5,000 feet a few days ago between some boulders on Algonquin Peak. All kinds of birches up here. Some paper birch. I think there may even be some gray birch in the mix here. It's a little too small for me to tell just by the leaves alone. But the leaves do resemble that of gray birch. And just more views. So Azure is the name. We had some blue skies to start. Now the blue is more in the view of the mountains. They have their own blue color. And that actually makes for more interesting videos and photography, I think, when you have even light. So hope you folks enjoyed the views from the fire tower and on the way up. And this is a very doable hike for families. I've seen several other families after I started. So people came out today after I did and been exploring this mountain alongside myself.